Right, bearings part 3. Slightly harder this time. We're going to have to rely on some rules from a triangle. And just to help us, what we'll do is we'll mark in this angle first. Angles in a triangle add to 180, 90, minus 44. It's going to be 46. Right, so we have two parts to each question, part A and part B. So let's begin with part A for this question. We want to find the bearing of x from y. Now the from tells me this is where I'm standing, and I want to head out to a hut or a tree out at x. So we begin by drawing a north arrow in, and I want to turn clockwise to find my bearing. And you can see now that we've found this angle here, it's clearly going to be 360 minus 46. 360 minus 46, 314 degrees. Right, we'll erase that. Now, part B, this time wants the bearing of y from x. So this time we're standing at x, draw in a wee north arrow pointing north, and start turning yourself clockwise around until you hit this line, the line down to y. So we want to turn ourselves this bearing in here. I can see that I have 90, a right angle, plus the extra 44, 134 degrees. Right, number 2, same thing, we'll start with A. The bearing of x from y means I'm standing at y and I look north, draw in a small north arrow. And now we start on the north arrow, we start turning ourselves around clockwise all the way until we hit the line of direction we want to travel on to get down to x. I clearly have 180 around to there, plus an extra 38. 180 plus 38, 218 degrees. In part B, the bearing of y from x, so I'm standing at x, draw in your north arrow, pointing straight up north. Looking north, we're going to turn ourselves, around there, that way, before we walk in the direction of y. So I'm going to need this angle in here. Now there are a couple of ways we can do that. We could find that angle in there, 90 minus 38, which gives me 52. And then of course 90 minus 52 gives me 38 here. But also you might remember a rule to do with angles and alternate lines, parallel lines. You can see there are parallel lines here, the north arrows, and this angle in here is actually alternate with this one. They're on alternate sides of that line there, which is the hypotenuse of the triangle actually. They're on alternate sides of that hypotenuse, so they'll be equal. So the angle, the bearing we need to turn on is 038 degrees. Question 3, part A. Want the bearing of x from y. So I'm standing on y, looking north, about to turn myself clockwise through 180 plus this angle down here. So A will be 180 plus, now this angle, you can probably see once again, is going to be alternate with the 37. It's on alternate sides of that hypotenuse, which is a transversal line for these two parallel lines here. So it's going to be 180 plus 37, 217 degrees. In part B, the bearing of y from x, so I'm standing here looking north, draw in my north arrow, start turning your body clockwise, and clearly it's just going to be this small angle here if I want to head out to y from x. So it's going to be 037 degrees. And last one, starting with A, we want the angle of x the bearing of x from y. So draw a dot, that's where you're standing. Put in your north arrow pointing straight up. And we're going to turn clockwise until we bang into the direction we want to head in. So that angle there. This time we might need to find that one, which is clearly 40 degrees. Angles in a triangle, some 180. If that's 40, this will be 140 because of angles on a straight line adding up to 180. So that's the bearing I need to head on. Part B, I want the bearing of y from x. So I'm standing here at x. Draw our north arrow pointing straight up. And we're about to turn clockwise through 3/4 of a circle plus an extra 50 because that's the direction I want to head on. 3/4 of a circle, of course, is 270 plus the extra 50, 320 degrees.